Hello and welcome to Scale War Machines. In this episode we're going to talk about a really excellent range of tools. If you watch our videos often, you'll see that occasionally some of our Minicraft tools appear in the videos. So we thought we'd make a film all about this range of tools and why we use them. The first thing to say is that Minicraft is no longer in existence. A few years ago they made a very complete range of precision power tools for hobbyists and model makers. If you want to get your hands on these, then you have to find them second hand on eBay or Craigslist or whatever you've got in your country. They were pretty widely sold, and at one stage this company was owned by Black & Decker. It was a British engineering company, and it's quite sad that it's no longer in operation. The first set we ever got was this high precision drill kit, which we bought new many years ago. It contains a transformer and a high precision drill. We used this for many years and we're very happy with it. But what happened was we were seeking a bit more control over the speed of the drill. The problem with the transformer that's bundled in this set was always that we could never turn it down to virtually 0 revolutions. We always wanted to find transformer that enabled us to knock the power right down for very slow or detailed work. What followed then was that we saw a collection of tools on eBay for sale and we struck. And this was 3 or 4 years ago now. What attracted us to this lot of second-hand tools was that it contained the MB750 Universal Speed Transformer. And what's great about this is that you can turn the revolutions right down practically to 0. In this old catalogue, you can see the different range and performance of all their transformers and how that affects the drill. The speed control range for this universal transformer is from 0 to 30,000 revolutions a minute. That led us to buy the transformer and various other tools that all came together. In amongst that first load of tools was this, something you'll see us use a hell of a lot. It's excellent for cleaning up bits of resin, bits of wood, and it's their MB450 bench sander. It's got a piece of velcro here, and so you can change these for different grades or grits of sandpaper. That also comes off, and that gives you a flat edge to sand against. Very useful for cleaning up model parts. And this is something we use pretty much every month at least. In amongst that first load of tools there are a couple of these. These are fairly old. These look like earlier designs, still Minicraft. It says made in West Germany, and we got a couple of these in that bundle, MB0520 drills. This one's still going. One of them packed up and we recycled it and sent it to the dump. This one is still going strong. Also included in that early batch of tools was the precision jigsaw. We also got an attachment to make a lathe kit, and finally there was an orbital sander. The orbital sander, by the way, is actually very useful to make into a paint shaker. You just remove the sanding pad, and we attached a tube of plastic into which we threw the bottles of paint that we wanted to shake up, and it's very good for that. But what we always wanted was the circular saw table, and this, a fret saw. Obviously these sort of tools which can cut wood, metal, plastic are extremely useful to model makers. Then recently we saw a whole bunch of tools again. Someone was obviously clearing out or doing an estate sale or whatever, and there was a whole bunch of these Minicraft tools on eBay, including the fret saw, quite a few other tools, and the bench saw. And here's the huge plastic box we got. What we're going to do is go ahead and open it and look at what we got. These are wood turning chisels. There's one set of those. Got some manuals, we'll look at those in a minute. Another set of wood turning chisels. A random face mask. There's one of those MB730 transformers. We already had one of those with our precision drill kit. It's good to have another one. Another drill, an MB1012. That appears to be the same or very close to what we've already got. That's often seen in the wood turning setup. The lathe kit you can get from Minicraft. It's always useful to have one of those. drill. Okay, that's a really nice little drill. That's very handy. That's an MB150 drill. That's sure to be very handy for model making. Got just a twist collet. That's great. Okay, here you can see the MB552 jigsaw. Those are always handy, that'll be our second one of those. And amongst the hoard came sort of helping hands and magnifying glass, always useful. A couple more random chisels. Box of parts, we'll look at that later. This is some sort of bar clamp, miniature bar clamp. Not sure if that's actually Minicraft or not, but there are two of those. This is what we were most interested in, the bench saw. We've had our eye on one of those for a long time, and we think there should be some accessories. Yep, that'll go in there. That's for the angles. Okay, then there are different types of saw blade that are available to fit on there. Still plenty of wood dust on it. It's got an aluminium table and it's called the MB410. These are familiar, these are the bits of another lathe kit. Those are the clamps. More clamps. And that's the lathe component with the adapter there. The spigot thing to attach the piece of wood. And finally, we have a fret saw. Again, this was what really motivated us to buy this. Quite heavy, and we'll look at that in more detail soon. And that's basically it. So quite a nice haul there of tools for a very reasonable price. What we'll do next is get them all set up and see if they work. First we started off with the transformer itself, and that worked fine with the drill we knew was already functioning. That was in perfect condition, as were both drills. We cleaned up one of the chucks a little bit to remove a bit of surface rust, but they're all in perfect working order, and the small one's just brilliant. Really pleased to add that to the collection. Whereas this one has a lock. This button locks the collet and then you can open it. That one's got a knurled ring, and that's really handy as well. That should make for quick drill changes. The other one is our much more precision drill, a much heavier drill, and it's great to have two of those because those can run various accessories like lathe and do heavy duty stuff. Onto the jigsaw now. The jigsaw appears a more modernised version of what we've got. It's the same one in the catalogue. It'll be interesting to see how the blades fit in. It didn't come with any blades, but we've got some from the previous jigsaw. But it does work, and you can set the angle of the cut as well, which is really handy. The bench saw, it's got a really nice flat aluminium style table. All seems to fit together well. We'll probably take the plastic guard and fit that at a later date, but we got a spanner, a few spare blades, an 84 tooth blade for wood and plastics, and 106 tooth for metal and plastics. The mitre guide fits in easily, as does the fence, and it works perfectly well. Quite noisy, but very useful. The fret saw needs a bit more careful setting up. Basically a case of fitting the knurled end at the top in the little grooves, and underneath the little plastic retainers that you clip the bottom part into. We'll mess around with it later, but you can see it works, and after a bit of a clean up it's fine. Here we are again cutting some more plastic. This will need a bit of perfecting to get it to work as we want it, but really pleased with that. That's going to be really useful. What's great about this range of tools is that all the transformers come with a surge protector or a cut-off, and you can actually set when that cuts off to reduce load. The upgrade to that bigger transformer definitely helps in terms of making the tools much more versatile. All the tools are designed to work at 12 volts. It's got 3 connectors, and on top there's 60 holes for putting all your tools. The tools will cut out, and you just hit that orange button and it will reset. And that's basically it. A whole bunch of other little accessories that will be tremendously useful, lots of different blades. We're really pleased with this haul. Well, we know they're all working. If you're interested in finding out a bit more about these tools and seeing them in action, we can make other videos. Just let us know in the comments and we'd be happy to show various different uses for these tools. There's still a few accessories we'd like to get. The mini drill stand would be extremely useful, but actually we've begun to accumulate quite a collection of these Minicraft tools, and they really are excellent. You can still generally get all the accessories on eBay, and of course any Dremel type accessories will fit. They're very, very reliable and easy to control, and it's a hell of a lot cheaper than buying a whole new set, brand new from somewhere. For a very reasonable price you can have quite a collection of extremely useful tools. But for now, if you see these for sale, go ahead and get them, you won't regret it. Thanks for watching, and bye.
Subscribe for our latest videos.